As dungeon masters or game masters, what have you, it is important that we maintain a sense of comfortable play at the table. That players can feel welcome and that they won't be trivialized and that they'll be respected. But how do we maintain this? Well, let's talk about that. Well, the most obvious answer and the most straightforward is talking at session 0. At some point, when you all get together to create your characters, have the pitch of the campaign, maybe run a few mock combats to make sure that everyone's build is what they were expecting it to be, that you also discuss what topics are okay and what things are not okay to address in the game. These can be what kind of humor, the level of profanity that is okay at the table, or even the level of gore that is acceptable. And also, Dungeon Masters establish what's okay and not okay on your end. What things are accepted in your campaigns and what things are not. For instance, in my games, if you... I hate the fact that I have to put this in my guidelines. But if you are at my table and you commit an act of sexual aggression, you're no longer welcome at my table. That's one strike, you're gone. Luckily, I've never had to do such a thing. I've had good players. But unfortunately, there are people out there who do not respect such things. And they are never welcome at my table. Dungeon Masters is just as important for you to know what is okay and not okay for your table, as it is for the players to understand where their boundaries lie. And this is where I talk to you players as well. Know what's okay and what's not okay for whatever reason. And bring it up at session 0. No need to elaborate. If you want to, you can pull the Dungeon Master aside and talk to them privately, especially if there's someone that you trust. But do not feel the need to explain yourself. Simply address that you are not comfortable with this topic and that you please move on. And if they do accidentally cross that boundary, just remind them gently. Odds on favor is they didn't mean to do it. They just did something in the heat of the moment and unintentionally crossed a boundary. It happens. After all, we are mortal. But that is session 0. What can we do during the course of the campaign to make sure that people are still comfortable playing? Well, one of the easiest methods, and probably the most elegant in my opinion, is something known as the X card. The X card is honestly probably my favorite method to assure comfortable play. It's something that you place down on the table, and whenever a uncomfortable situation occurs in the game, be it something that was established during session 0, or something that just occurred and the player or dungeon master didn't even think about, the player or dungeon master can simply point to the card, raise a hand, or touch the card. At that point, it is up to you, dungeon masters, to rewind the clock, or simply jump ahead. Because, as always, at the end of the day, we play this hobby to have fun. And sometimes people don't want to be reminded of everyday life. They want to escape to a fantasy world, science fiction, or Pokemon, or what have you, and just live out a fantasy. Have fun with their friends, destroying monsters, and saving the world. And anything we can do to make sure that they have a good time, we should strive for. Well, everyone, that is the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and please subscribe. I will be making more videos similar to this one. We'll be providing tips and tricks for both DMs and players. You can also follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and even Twitch, where I stream every Saturday morning and we just talk Dungeons and Dragons and DM tips. So, until next time, everyone, keep rolling those dice.